This is Geek Gab with your host, Dornall, and me, Daddy Warpig. We are back. Geek Gab for Monday, July 28th, 2025. And this is just such a wonderful day, folks. I can't even tell you just how amazing and wonderful today is. We have been collecting difficulties and errors and all kinds of things like they were Christmas presents on Christmas morning. It's beautiful.
We couldn't get enough of the technical difficulties. We had to gather as many as we could and open them all at once.
I've got a little pile on my desk. I've unwrapped all the paper and it's just sitting there. It's glorious. It's all shiny and chrome. But I don't want to complain about that. Not when there are such amazing things in the world to see. So hey, here's something I know everybody who's listening was caring about deeply. They canceled The Authority movie.
Oh, it's The Authority.
See, that's why I led with that deeply caring thing is I knew it would become ironic very shortly. The Authority is a comic series by Warren Ellis from the very late 90s, done under the Wildstorm Comics company, and which was bought by DC, and DC has been pathetically trying to mash Wildstorm and the DC universe together, and every single time it just brutally fails. So one of the announced projects for the brand new, I don't even know what they call it now, the brand new James Gunniverse was an Authority movie. So they were all excited, or some people were ostensibly excited for it, and it's just been announced that it's just been canceled. Apparently, it was not doing so well in development, and the relatively cool reception that Superman got has convinced Warner Brothers CEO, the same genius who buried the already finished Wile E. Coyote movie, has decided not to go forward with The Authority. And I actually don't think that's a bad decision. The Authority was it was by Warren Ellis. It was a singularly brutal and bloody comic. It was, what if one group of superheroes decided to run the world and killed supervillains? Because it was the 90s. And it's edgy.
That sounds very edgy.
It's edgy, man. It's all the edge. And now it's almost 30 years later. So obviously doing it again. Oh, yeah. And it's sort of copied off of the Justice League. So, there's Apollo, who's sort of Superman, and then there's sort of a Batman character,
Of
and
course.
so on and so forth. And they're in the same universe as Superman and Batman. Because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Apollo and the Batman character, Superman and Batman, are in a gay relationship. So that's part of The Authority.
Oh, that's edgy.
It was so edgy. You cut yourself on the pages of the comic book, man. They didn't just have foil covers; they had razor foil covers. So they decided to cancel that movie. And all the people who still remember The Authority were quite bummed. Now, here's the sad thing. I read the first volume of the collected Authority comics, and they're actually really cool. The adventures, the ideas in them are great. They have this alien invasion from like another dimension, and the designs and the ideas, they're fabulous. If Warren Ellis wasn't trying to be like dark and British, and because he was one of those British people who came over in the 80s and was all edgy in the 80s, because the 80s were when the edgy thing got started on the fringes, and the 90s is when it took over.
Yes, an Alan Moore type.
Yeah. Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, Warren Ellis, all these guys. So they were great ideas for comics. They were perfect comics ideas. He's not like these guys who are in charge nowadays who can't actually make comics. They make, I don't know what they're making. They're making crap, right? Where people sit around tables talking about what kind of food they're eating, and that's an X-Men comic. And G.I. Joe has a big old out of shape, heavily out of shape person, and that's G.I. Joe.
Hey man,
And
they're just body positive.
they just don't make comics anymore. So Warren Ellis at least knew how to make comic books. It's just all wrapped up in this, dark, nasty, psychosexual need to be offensive to people and edgy. And it's sad because otherwise it's really brilliant stuff. So I am not completely illiterate on the subject of The Authority, but making an Authority movie that's true to the spirit of Authority is unlikely to be welcomed, especially in this day and age in which people have gotten so sick of those kinds of things, they've just stopped watching movies.
Yeah, it is definitely 20 to 30 years too late for that.
So, yeah, I don't think it's a big mistake canceling the Authority movie. When I heard they were making an Authority movie, I was like way confused. Did not make any sense to me why they would be starting an Authority movie now.
Right.
So, and I'm a big fan of the Watchmen movie. I know it has its flaws, but I'm a big fan of the Watchmen movie. So the closest thing you could find to an audience that might enjoy the Authority movie is me and people like me. And even I'm like, ooh, mate, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure that's gonna fly as a kind of movie I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not a moneymaker. That's my point. That movie was not going to be a moneymaker. Thank you. That was the point I was trying to get to. Why
Yeah,
didn't you help
easy
me
call.
there? You're supposed to help me get to that point.
I was trying. Doing my best. We're all just doing our best out here.
So that's some of the news I heard. Let's see. I saw that Raconteur announced a couple more anthologies, or their anthologies got stealth announced, or one anthology got stealth announced by an author that was in it. I can't remember the title. I just saw the cover art for it a little bit. So look forward to that. We just had the Raconteur guys on a couple weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
that's another anthology that's been announced since we had them on. Kursova has another Kickstarter that's ending in the next 2 days or 3 days. So definitely go check that out if you've ever pledged money to a Kursova Kickstarter. Um, I already received my book from the last time we had an author from Kursova on, and we also had Jungle Scandals on the show, John Weichsel, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. And I got my Jungle Scandals book in the mail, so both of those have been fulfilled already. I've only done 2 Kickstarters with Weichsel, but they both come in on time. They've both been quality products. I've done all the Kickstarters with Kursova, and they've always come in on time, except for once when it was not his fault because a boat got delayed somewhere in the ocean. And I think at that point, when your book gets delayed literally a week and a half because a boat was late, that I think I can forgive him, especially on the scale of Kickstarters being late.
Yeah, I
A
suppose
week and a half.
everybody gets a boat pass, I guess.
So go check out Kursova. Do you want to spell that for me?
Kirsova.
Go check out Kursova on Twitter at Kursova, and he'll have the links to his currently running Kickstarter, and you can go look at it, see if it's something you like. Definitely worth. He's always had books that have been worth the money. Then you can also do a search for Kursova magazine on Amazon, and they're always filled with phenomenal stories. So
Hey, this is a deep cut from the old internet, Miliardo. Hey man, good to see you back on the show. I don't think we've ever had you in the chat under that name, but he says could be worse. He's still waiting on his Mega Tokyo VN.
oh
I don't know
man,
what VN is, but I know Mega Tokyo, and that guy is never gonna ship anything because every other day is a dead Pyro day. If you know, you know. You had to be there, the turn of the century.
I read Mega Tokyo once back in around that, and then when I got to the end and there wasn't anything updating, after about a week or 2 of checking and there wasn't any updates, that was it. I didn't do anything else with it.
Yeah, uh, way back then, that guy was notorious for not delivering. But anyway, visual novel. Back to when I was in
Yeah.
college. Sounds about right.
Um, let's see, what other entertainment news? Oh yeah, I tried watching, as long as we're on comics and comic movies, I tried watching the animated Batman The Dark Knight Returns. DC movies were on YouTube for free, not from like some scummy dude uploading them. These were actually from YouTube's own like movie stuff. They have a bunch of free movies on YouTube. Um, that you can just watch. You don't have to subscribe to their stupid sort of cable service or anything. They just have free movies. And they happen to have, I don't know all, but they happen to have a ton of DC animated movies that are usually just comic arcs or Elseworlds stories or whatever that are animated. And so I tried watching the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller's edgy story from the 80s. And I love the comic, but man, that animated version really just torqued me off. Um, for one thing, they took all the edginess out of it. For another thing, they destroyed all the pacing and things that should have taken like 20 or 30 seconds. They zipped over in like less than a second. And so you could barely tell what was supposed to be happening. Whereas in the comic, it's panel by panel, and he gives you the pacing by uh, giving it multiple panels. Um, so, and then they added some new dialogue that was just bad, took out some old dialogue, and it's like, you know what? I'm just going to read the Frank Miller if I ever feel like it. I don't need this. So I quit about a third of the way through. It
And
just
nothing of value was lost.
no, I didn't have the. That's why this isn't a review of it. This is just I tried watching this. It was so bad I quit.
Right.
So there are a lot of which, yeah, given how many really awful things I have watched, that's uh that's a really harsh review by itself. But there are a lot of DC animated. They're not part of like the Batman, the animated series, and those stuff. They're just randomly animated, random animated movies produced by Warner Brothers. So you can search those up, and once you watch one of them, they'll keep on recommending like all of them all the time in your feed. Um, I finally broke YouTube's recommendation algorithm because they've stopped recommending things to me other than exactly what they recommended before. Um, and they literally don't know what I want anymore. They just don't know what to do with me. Uh, which, hey, whatever. I
Hey,
have.
speaking of Batman, did you see this trailer that's been flying around the internet the past couple of days? Aztec Batman.
Oh, I.
What? What a crazy, misguided idea.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I can't talk.
It's completely absurd. Uh,
Oh,
abs tone deaf, 100% tone deaf. Um, Anybody who's listening who hasn't seen it, it's a little animated. I don't know if it's supposed to be a series or a internet movie or whatever, but
it's an animated movie like the ones I've been talking about.
oh, okay. And the art style is like circa 2008 webcomic art style. It's not great like the animated series. It's just or like those you know visual novel video games, right? Like the heavy cell shaded. But anyway, the the setting, it's tone deaf and absurd. It's this idea that what if Batman was this Aztec guy in the Aztec Empire, and all the
In
bad
this,
guys, all the bad guys, including the Joker or whatever, they're the conquistadors in the New World. I
I, I think the Joker is because I saw it today uh, on the big screen. We played it, or maybe I watched on my computer or something. He's an Aztec priest who helps the conquistadors.
oh boy, that's something else.
I I want to say this because this gets said a lot, right? And there's an internet law about it. And I don't want to invoke the internet law because I'm not invoking this thoughtlessly or just throwing it out or just trying to win an internet debate like this. Batman, Aztec Batman, being the good guy, saving his people, is exactly as moral as Nazi Batman being the hero of a movie. Okay? As Batman talking about saving uh, saving the Aryan people and securing Lebensraum for the Aryan people. All right? It's exactly the same. And
Except
people,
you would find someone somewhere who would want to watch that.
oh,
Nobody nobody wants to watch this.
it's just, well, and the other thing is, Batman, his defining characteristic since the 1950s, which is like more than 20 years ago, I think. The 1950s was more than 20 years ago, I'm pretty sure. Um, his defining characteristic is he doesn't shoot people and he doesn't kill people. And like they said in, I think it was Kingdom Come, Superman says, when you take everything else away, what you have of Batman is somebody who doesn't want to see anybody die. So, first, he's from a culture that literally took obsidian knives and cut organs out of living people so their tears would bring rain to water the crops. Um, but secondly, in the trailer itself, he's raising an army and he's a war leader to go bring war on the conquistadors. Because that's who Batman is, a guy who wants to see lots of people die. And I'm like, maybe you could get away with that with Wonder Woman, who's an Amazon and a warrior, right? Because they're a warrior people, but not Batman.
Makes no sense.
And that's just laying aside the whole Aztec thing. You could put Batman in any culture, and he's not going to be a general. Okay, Batman is not going to be a general in a for the United States. He's not going to go out and kill people. He's not going to call soldiers bad names, and he's not going to, you know, attack soldiers or whatever. But that's not who he is. He fights crime. So making him a general, a war leader, is just not who Batman is. That's not who Superman is. Um, it's just, it's so stupid. Taken on any level you care to analyze it, it is ridiculous and dumb. And I saw a dumb trailer yesterday. It's not as dumb as this. I can't beat it. And this is a really dumb trailer. I'm trying. They tried. It's called Primitive War. And you've got to understand how dumb this is. It's set in Vietnam. And this guy gets a bunch of soldiers and takes them to a valley because a bunch of Green Berets went missing. And in this valley, they run into velociraptors and Tyrannosaurus rexes and a bunch of other dinosaurs. And maybe there's some further twist to it, but that's the movie. Dinosaurs in Vietnam.
Awesome.
So, one, It's Jurassic Park in Vietnam. Okay. Okay. It's an old story. You can go all the way back to like is it The Lost Valley
Lost World, I
by
think.
The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle? Um and fine, we can ignore, King Kong on Skull Island, which is a bunch of Vietnam soldiers on an island with monsters. And I don't remember exactly if there were dinosaurs there or not, but there were big things that were dinosaur like. And I don't know if it has a good plot or not, but the special effects were awful. And it's obviously a very low budget production. And I want it to be good because I actually want to watch the movie. I'm sorry. I'm pathetic and weak.
Dude, dinosaurs are awesome.
I want it to be a good movie because it's actually interesting to me. Uh, because it's separate from the Jurassic Park world and you don't have to deal with the whole genetic thing and it's just dinosaurs from a lost world or something. I'm like, cool. I can handle that. I can hang with that. I'm just hoping it's good. But it was not a great trailer. On the other hand, it did have some good action moments in it. I have to give them that. It really did have some good action moments in it. So it was nowhere near as bad a trailer as as that other one we just discussed, who I've completely forgotten about already.
It's that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna remind you. It was stupid.
Um. So yeah, I want to watch it. I want it to be a good movie. Does that make me pathetic?
No, you want to be entertained. You're hoping that
Yeah.
when you get something or you buy something that you're going to be entertained. Alas.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's pandering to anyone, at least at least from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it's pandering. Um, so I'm hoping it's actually going to be um, I'm hoping uh, it's actually going to be good. Let's see, what are some other uh, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 looked like a bad trailer. I don't know. Maybe it'll hit for the audience it's meant for. There are a bunch of new trailers that came out because it's San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
Um, so if you go out there, you can find some new trailers. Um, Tron 3 Ares. Uh, they're finally picking it up from the last Tron movie where they invade from the electronic world into the real world. Not sure how that's going to go. It doesn't look great, but maybe they'll surprise me. Did you see the new War of the Worlds trailer?
no. Skipped
It's all
that.
it's all set in one room with Ice Cube looking like he's about 60. And all I know, he may be 60. He's on a Zoom call for the entire movie, and he's occasionally getting TikToks of the aliens doing bad stuff to people out in the real world. but we don't actually ever see the bad stuff except through the TikToks.
Hmm.
We're just in the room with him for the whole movie.
That is a bold move.
Star Trek Starfleet Academy looks terrible. Don't want to see it. There's a new season of another Critical Role animated series coming, and I watched the trailer, and I don't know why I watched the trailer. I wanted to rip out parts of my brain. And I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. I was mad at myself at the end of watching the trailer. I didn't know it was Critical Role, but I knew I hated it all the way through. And I was mad at myself for watching the trailer. I questioned why I had done it. I was like, why did you do that? What benefit did you think you were going to get from watching the rest of that trailer? You knew you hated it. There was a Masters of the Universe trailer that I don't remember anything about. I don't remember if it was an animated show. I don't remember if it was live action. I don't know anything about it. That's how much that trailer stuck in my mind. I mean, at least I remember most of this Critical Role trailer. I hated it. I hated every minute of it, but I remember it. This Masters of the Universe trailer, I don't remember anything about. Take that for what you will. There's a new season of Gen V coming. That's the Boys spinoff. Yeah, it's just all these trailers that came out. So very few are for movies. All of them are for, streaming stuff, streaming junk. One theatrical, 2, 3, 4, 5 theatrical out of the 15 trailers I got here collected. That may just be the bias of the person who collected these trailers, but movie theaters are struggling. And these movies they're not good. They're just not. On the other hand, the Running Man trailer keeps on growing on me every time I see it. Have you seen the Running Man trailer?
No,
Really?
I didn't know they'd do that again.
Yeah, they've got another Running Man that's coming out, I guess, pretty soon. It's got the charismatic guy that everybody likes now. That was in Maverick.
Oh, Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Glenn Powell.
Gosh, Glenn Powell. Yeah.
Which is fine. As far as actors everybody likes, I actually like him. I don't like Pedro Pascal. We'll get to that in one sec. November 7th, The Running Man is coming out. And it is based more on the book. It's directed by Edgar Wright, if you can believe that. Who did, famously the Shaun of the Dead trilogy and Baby Driver, and some other movies that I really, really love. One Night in Soho, which is a fabulous ghost story. I tend to like his movies. There are some of his movies I don't, but I tend to like his movies. So I didn't like it the first time I saw it, The Running Man, but I've seen the trailer like 3 times now, and because it's played before both movies I've seen this month. So the more I see it, the more I like the trailer, the more I think, oh, that actually does look like it'll be a good movie. It doesn't look like it's repudiating the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, it looks like it's aware of the Schwarzenegger movie and its like cultural position as being something that Gen X really, really enjoyed, that really marked their childhood. And so Edgar Wright tried to make it a high quality movie that was just something different than the Schwarzenegger Running Man. And he's not remaking it. He's making it closer to the book, um, so that he wouldn't be like, making a stupid copy of something that you couldn't pull off without Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, my only worry is that I'm hoping he doesn't keep the ending from the book.
Was
Um,
that?
well, the book's ending is one of those early Stephen King book endings. Um, it's one of those, down and depressing uh,
Oh,
endings. So I'm hoping he doesn't keep the book ending. I'm hoping he has the balls to say, yes, we're adapting a Stephen King novel. We went back closer to the novel, but this nihilism stuff is garbage, and we're going to make an ending that I want to make, and it's something, you know, it's something that'll make it worth the audience's time. I watched a YouTube video yesterday. Somebody was writing about the 7 or the 10 worst Stephen King books, and he was saying how much he loved The Colorado Kid. And I think Colorado Kid is the worst thing that Stephen King ever did, ever. My opinion of The Colorado Kid is that it is the literary equivalent of the American X prison shower assault scene.
oh, gross.
Uh, that's what Stephen King did to the audience with that book. So other people other people who have defended it, all they can defend it on is some abstract philosophical level. They can't defend the visceral storytelling appeal of the book. And neither could Stephen King in the afterword or whatever. So it is not a satisfying ending, would be, and this is the Colorado Kid, not the Running Man, would be the such a mild way of phrasing it as to be totally misleading. Um, I just in Dark Sun, there's a type of wizard called defilers, and when they cast a spell, it draws magic from life, from plant life or from living creatures in uh, in a big broad circle around the spellcaster. And the more powerful the spell, the higher level the spell, the bigger the circle of life it kills. And the Colorado Kid was such a powerful, defiling spell that I haven't even read any books from that imprint, from that publisher at all, ever. I just, I see that, I see that little yellow key thing, whatever. I think it's cold Case Files, something like that, or Cold Case Mysteries, whatever. I see that icon. It's the same icon that was on the cover of Colorado Kid, and I'm just like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm done. And it's not even because of hatred. I was burned, and I'm not going back.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you.
Yeah. Anyways, I like The Running Man. The book, other than the ending, I liked. The Schwarzenegger movie, I love. And the trailers are looking promising, maybe. And so I'm hoping that The Running Man is also a good movie. I'm pretty sure Primitive War isn't going to be a good movie, but I'm holding out a faint hope. So we'll see.
Good luck.
Let's do this week, because this week has been a bad week for brilliant and talented people passing
Yeah,
on.
and I was so bummed earlier this week. I'm still a little bummed, man. Um, rest in peace, the Ozman.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, Ozzy Osbourne. He went. He did his last show. He said it was his last show. He knew it, and he just 2 days later just died. Absolute
yeah.
legend. Um,
Ozzy Osbourne, he just had something endearing about him, and I don't even know what it was.
yeah,
Um,
you like the guy, right?
you just
I
liked
mean,
him.
aside from the fact that is a brilliant musician, made some of Black Sabbath's best stuff, one of the progenitors of heavy metal, uh, and he did that. I thought their reality show was just a stupid publicity stunt, but you know, people just people just find him charming.
Yeah.
Whether
Um,
you could understand a word he was saying or not, people just find him charming.
and then there was Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. This one hit me a little harder. Hulk Hogan, he made wrestling what it was. Like when we were kids, everybody knew Hulk Hogan and everybody knew what wrestling was because of Hulk Hogan. Um, and it was just amazing. I grew up on that stuff. Hulk versus Ultimate Warrior, Hulk versus Macho Man, Randy Savage, um, the Andre the Giant Body Slam, an absolute icon. And yeah, I mean he'll be missed.
Yeah.
The let's see, in the latter years, um, we owe on the Geek Gab we owe a tip of our hat to him. As one of an unwitting warrior in Gamergate, uh, taking down Gawker for being such scumbags with his personal information, that he went and he dealt them a legal blow so great that scumbag muckraking journalists had to close up shop. We love him for that too. That was more of a footnote.
He I moved to the United States in 1983. Um, and before then, I was living in Germany, and I had no idea what professional wrestling was. Uh, so, from the time I moved to America and really discovered American popular culture, Hulk Hogan was always there. Uh, he he is he is part. of what America is to me. He is part of what home was to me. And there were a lot of other things that went into making up what felt like home, what made America America, that made it familiar to me. But Hulk Hogan and professional wrestling and Andre the Giant and Rowdy Roddy Piper and Jake the Snake Roberts and the Iron Sheik, he was just always there. And, whether he was in a movie with Rocky or any of the other things he did, uh, he was part of home. And I just, saying goodbye to him is hard.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
I feel you.
it's saying goodbye to part of what made America America to me. So,
Well said,
yeah.
man. End of an era.
Um, we lost Tom Lehrer this week. Uh,
No, I didn't know him by name, but you reminded me he did one of my favorite songs from the Dr. Demento show, the Poisoning the Pigeons in the Park.
he uh, he had a special on his site a few years back where you could spend like $20 or so and get every piece of music he ever made and download it. So I bought that.
Oh, wow.
As soon as I as soon as I found out that was a thing, I bought that and downloaded everything. And the other song of his that I really, really enjoyed was the Elements song. And He was clever. He made some great music. Um, and, you know, he was a great part of the Dr. Demento show. I'll miss him too. Um, I don't want to get this name wrong, but it's Chuck Mangione. Is that right?
You know what? I've only ever seen it written. Could be right.
No, I mean, I'm hoping Chuck is the right name.
Yes, that's he's the one who died. I don't know how to say his name.
Okay. Um, and so uh, he isn't as big in my life as he was the others, but I know he's very important to some people. So I wanted to include him as well. Um, and I know there were some other people, some other prominent people that passed on this week. Oh, yeah, Theo, the actor who played Theo from The Cosby Show, who was also in um, Community for a couple of episodes and uh, had a different big long show that I can't remember. Um, he was also, is it Malcolm Jamal Warner?
I think that's the name. Yep.
Passed away this week as well.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Um, so we want to say rest in peace to all the people who passed away this week, and really we hope that that the death toll for next week isn't as uh,
Yeah, let's get that under control.
I really don't want to have to do this again.
Right?
Um, anyways, we got started late, so I'm hoping we can uh, finish on time.
Bro, you've only left yourself 11 minutes.
Well, I
Let's
figured
do it.
we have a little bit of buffer because we started late, so if we have to.
No, we can go as late as you need, DW, but we have been on the air for over 49 minutes already.
Um,
Let's go.
so apparently I went and saw the Fantastic Four.
Why'd you do that?
Um, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Man, you would do anything for this show. I hope everybody else appreciates it, because I do.
Um, so here's the surprising verdict on the movie. It's actually pretty good.
No way. Tell me more.
Uh, I mean, I'm going to be unfair and say it's no movie from the 80s when you could wander into a theater and see some groundbreaking movie that would, you know, literally set its stamp in cinema history forever, like Predator or, you know, Terminator or
Yeah.
uh, even like comedies or dramas, whatever. So I want to, when I say it was pretty good, I want to say it was not an earth shaking movie, but it's a good movie. It's enjoyable. It's got good special effects. It's got good characterization, mostly good acting. Um, in the trailers, they set up that sort of 60s alternate history 60s vibe. Um, so it's got that really charming retro 60s vibe going on that they carry out through the whole movie. Um, it's friendly. There's no lecturing. There's no hectoring. They don't they don't browbeat the audience. The movie doesn't seem like it hates the audience. The movie doesn't seem like it was made to make the audience feel bad for being the audience of the movie. Um, it's based on perhaps the most seminal, and if you've seen the trailers, you know this, the most seminal Fantastic Four um,
Story.
storyline,
Yeah.
which is Galactus. And it's the classic Kirby Galactus, big guy in a suit with the, tuning fork on his head, but he doesn't look stupid, which you would think would be the case.
Yes, yes,
And
I would. But that's a classic design. Like, that's a classic villain.
yeah, and they give him an appropriate sense of ominousness and uh, imperviousness and inevitability and weight. They make him seem like a bigger threat than Thanos was.
Cool.
Um, they sell his threat to Earth and to the people of Earth very, very well, and not through just telling people about it. I mean, there is at one point, and I believe this is in the comics as well, like the Herald of Galactus shows up, and that's the Silver Surfer, and says, "Hey, I'm the Herald of Galactus." He eats worlds. He kills everything on them. He's coming pretty soon. Cuddle with your family. Enjoy the few days you have left, because everybody on this planet is going to die, and then your planet's going to be eaten. So that's definitely telling the audience what Galactus is, right?
Sure.
And if that's all they did, it'd be like, whoop-you-do. You wouldn't really feel the menace of Galactus. You really wouldn't seem all that terrifying. But then before he gets to Earth, they show you Galactus doing his thing. So you know that this is a serious threat. Then they show you how tough he is. Then they show you how impossible it is for the Fantastic Four to stand up to Galactus, toe to toe. And then they make it absolutely clear what a monumental threat he is. So you completely buy it. And that's work that a lot of times Marvel movies haven't done recently. A lot of time Marvel movies recently just tell you, oh yeah, he's bad. And they don't show you that he's bad, right? Or they tell you, oh yeah, this hero girl, she's this and this and this. And they don't ever show you. So you have no idea. And then everything you see on screen is the hero absolutely not being those things. So why would you believe it? Technically the movie is great. The special effects are great. Except sometimes when the baby becomes CGI,
Oh,
once or twice it looked bad, but most of the time when it's a real baby and they move into CGI for something, I couldn't tell it was CGI, or if it was CGI and I could tell, it looked fine. They didn't do the terrible CGI Marvel stuff they've done recently. Um, the the story made sense. One event followed from another in a sensible way. They got some. This is the Fantastic Four 4 years into their career in an alternate universe that isn't the MCU. Again, if you saw the trailer, you knew that. So you don't have to know anything about the MCU to understand this movie. I found myself hoping or wishing, like, what would be nice is if they just kept on with this universe and just ignored the MCU. Just let that universe fall by the wayside and kept on with this universe so we could forget about the MCU and all the problems and all the bad feelings and everything from that universe, Echo and Ironheart and Secret Wars and all of that. Just it's gone. It was part of that universe, but we're in this universe now. And I don't know that that's what they're going to do, but I thought that would be nice because this is a brand new, fresh universe. It doesn't have all that baggage. It's a great, clean world where Mr. Fantastic, who is Reed Richards, who is a super scientist, has made such an impact on this planet, being the leaders and the protectors of this planet, that when they first came back from their space flight that changed them into the Fantastic Four, and you in the audience, I don't know how much you know about the Fantastic Four. They were four people, four astronauts who flew up in a spaceship and got caught in some kind of strange cosmic radiation storm, and it changed them into four fantastic beings with superpowers. And if you watch the movie, you'll see how that happens in a flashback, because it happened 4 years before this movie, and you'll see who they are and what their powers are. But Reed Richards is such a genius that police vehicles that used to be cars are now hover cars. So they're these little 60s, like, I don't know what the art style of the 60s is called, but they're these little 60s, like, cosmic, where they had like the fins and stuff on it
Yeah, yeah.
that can literally fly. And when they see cops going after criminals, they're flying through the air, they're hovering, going over traffic so they don't have to drive through traffic on high-speed chases and stuff. So the Fantastic Four has made like a big impact on their world, and they're beloved the whole world over. And they go through these newsreels at the beginning of the movie very quickly, just takes a few minutes, showing you all the great things the Fantastic Four does. So they're a family, they're very loving, they're not bitter, they're not angry, they don't snipe at each other, they don't put down each other. It is a very warm and sentimental movie. They face some challenges in their relationships, uh, but they're not corrosive and hateful about it. Um, the man and the woman are not at war. She doesn't despise him for being a man. She doesn't stand over him and look down on him with contempt. The movie doesn't make Reed Richards seem like he's stupid or a loser. He's the leader of the Fantastic Four, and he's the one who is out in front making plans and coming up with ideas, and the other team members give their feedback and come up with their own ideas and contribute, but Reed is very much the leader. So it's a good movie. I would give it a B plus, maybe an A minus. And the only reason I wouldn't give it an A is because I save A's for movies from the 80s that are, you know, visceral, awesome, and amazing movies. This is just a good movie. It's a good time. It's worth going and seeing. If you want to go see something in the theater, Fantastic Four is worth going and seeing in the theater. Um,
That's definitely not
so
what I was
yeah, it's
expecting to
not.
hear. Wow.
It doesn't push an agenda. Uh,
Hey, what's up,
so
Thunder Moose? Yeah, you're just in time for the tail end of our Fantastic Four review.
I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised. Unfortunately, it's pulling against all the weight of the mistakes Marvel has been making for the last 7, 8 years. I don't know how long it's been since Endgame came out. But even before Endgame, you had Captain Marvel. So everything from Captain Marvel on except Endgame. Um, and it's got a lot to push against. But leaving that aside, which you literally do because this is a new universe, um, it's it's a movie that's worth watching.
Wow, color me
Oh,
shocked.
Thundermoose is asking, did we do Superman? Yes. Yeah, yes. Didn't we do Superman last week?
Yes, you or it might have been the week before, but yeah, we talked about Superman. What do you think? How do they compare?
I think I might need to refix mine.
What are you fixing? He's fixing something. Don't worry, guys. He's fixing something. Um, I know that box office wise,
Am I coming through now?
they're fighting for whatever few tickets are available. Yeah, you're back, DW. And he's gone. Yeah, no, I didn't see either of those. I am so burned out on capes that I do not care. I won't even do it for you guys on the show, and I feel a little bad about that. But you got to do what you got to do. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, when did I drop out?
You didn't answer Dundermoose's question on how you compare Fantastic Four and Superman.
Okay. We did Superman last week, and this movie is better than Superman was.
Well, because no trashy Supergirl and no Superdog beating up Superman.
Yeah.
Miliardo wants to know how did Reed's stretchy powers look in the finished film?
They look good. Uh, in fact, they look pretty fantastic. There's one point where they looked really fantastic, especially at one point. They looked really fantastic when Galactus is trying to kill him. He's stretching him super long, and you can tell he's about to pull him in half. And they just looked really great. And you knew it was a complete CGI shot, but man, uh, it was a great shot. It was great CGI, um, and I they didn't look fake. He didn't use them as much as I would have expected. The Mr. Fantastic from the Fox movies, I think 20 years ago, 2004 or 2005, I think. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. He used
I,
his a lot.
it sounds right. You're in the ballpark.
Um, like he would stretch out his arm to pick up stuff in the lab and bring it back. And maybe they did it too much to where it was gimmicky, and they didn't want to make it gimmicky in this movie. So he didn't use it like a ton, but when he did use it, it looked okay. And they never made it so that his arms looked like they were inhuman. They almost always looked like they had heft, like they were still armish things, like they were still thick enough to be arms. They never got really super thin, except that one scene with Galactus trying to pull them apart. Uh, Invisible Girl's powers were just fantastic. They did an incredible job with those. The special effects for those were beautiful and amazing. And you can tell she's been working with those powers a lot because she turns the entire spaceship they're on invisible and does a lot of other stuff. Um, so you knew she'd been working with them for a long time, powering up. Johnny Storm's powers were incredible. They took his visual look in a completely different direction just to make it fresh. And I loved the way they took the direction of it. And I loved the sound effects. His sound effects almost had they almost sounded like a butane, just like as an overnote in the sound effects. It sounded almost like a butane heater, when it's doing that. And it added a real note of pushing or propulsiveness to his flames, and it was great. And uh, I liked the way he had this aura of red that wasn't burning all the time, but he had patches of flames on his arm. It just, if you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. They looked really fantastic. And somewhere near about a third from the end of the movie, Ben Grimm alters the way he shaves. He shaves with like a grinder, and he goes for a full beard, and that was fabulous. He just looks great with a full beard and mustache. Uh, and there isn't a whole lot you can do with his powers that way, but because he's big, he's a brick. He lifts heavy things. He's tough. Um, but he was um, he had all the heart, because he really is the heart of the Fantastic Four. Reed's is the brain, but Ben Grimm is the heart. Um, and he just the way they made that character, the way they characterized him was really good. Um, and if you were ever into the Fantastic Four, even peripherally, when when you were young, you got all the nostalgia in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, like all the nostalgia. They had shots from the cartoon. They had live action shots that were covers of comics. They had the Mole Man there, who actually turns out to be critical to the plot. And so that was great to see. Herbie's there. Um, and when I was very young, I had a Fantastic Four, and this is while I was in Germany. I had a Fantastic Four coloring book with Herbie in it. And so just seeing Herbie in the trailer, I was like, I couldn't help it. I was like 2 years old or 3 years old. I had a Fantastic Four coloring book with Herbie in it. And just seeing Herbie there in the Fantastic Four looking exactly like he did in my coloring book just grabs you by the nostalgia. You can't help it being that young. And I could take a step back and say, I know that's just nostalgia. It's nothing substantive. It doesn't change whether the movie's good or bad, but still, it's like, oh, there's Herbie. It's complete. It's the complete Fantastic Four thing. But it wasn't like member berries. It was because they're setting up the Kirby world. They're not trying to make you remember what the Fantastic Four was like when you're young, just to make you nostalgic. They're saying it's the 60s. It's Jack Kirby's world. This is how the cars looked like. This is how the buildings looked like. They had the Pan Am building back then because Pan Am was still a thing. And the Mole Man tries to steal the Pan Am building by collapsing it into the underground. And here's what their clothes looked like, and here's what their hairstyles looked like, and here's what the music was like, and here's what the Fantastic Four was like back in the 60s. It's not member berries for the sake of member berries. They're building this world that's Kirby's world because what's about to happen, and they show several Kirby villains, because what's about to happen is the ultimate Kirby villain is about to come on stage. And if it was a hyper modern 2025 Fantastic Four in a 2025 world dressed in 2025 clothes, that Galactus wouldn't fit. He would seem out of place. But in a Kirby world, he fits in perfectly with all the other Kirby villains and Kirby looking monsters. So, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen anyone yet complain about them doing all the nostalgia, but it isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It is very carefully trying to build a world and build steps up to where you can accept Galactus in big boots with the tuning forks on his head and have you believe that he fits without looking silly because the entire world he's in fits around him and he's perfectly believable in this world. So, and yet it still does work as nostalgia. It still does work as evoking a past time. Now, I wasn't alive during the 60s, so I can't have nostalgia for the 60s. And I never read the Fantastic Four during the 60s when, Kirby was new. I was born in the 70s, so I wasn't even reading, Fantastic Four or anything. Um, so the nostalgia wasn't working on me except for the Herbie thing. Um, but so it's not even real nostalgia for me. I didn't read these comics, and I still haven't read the Fantastic Four comics. I've just seen some covers. So they build this warm feeling towards a world that literally doesn't exist. How do you have nostalgia for a place that never existed for comics I never read? They built a feeling of nostalgia for a time I never lived in, for comics I never read, for except for one robot in a coloring book, not a comic book. And they made it seem like a home that you wanted to live in because it's a beautiful place, it's a safe place, it's a peaceful place, it's a place where there's protectors who have brought new technologies, who have who fight these fantastic enemies, and who make who make a bright and optimistic world. They give you a feeling of belonging to this bright and optimistic world that the Fantastic Four inhabit. And they bring you into feeling like you're part of this world within the first several minutes of the movie. So so I have to take it back. It's not even nostalgia. It's just showing you what this world is like, showing you how bright and happy and optimistic it is, and then making you feel like, you know, you do belong there, or you are there, or you're part of it. And I think that's a really hard thing to pull off, but they did it brilliantly. And even the trailers were doing it with the way that they brought the world in. People were responding to the way the world looked and to the styles and to the architecture and things. So this is a world where, like, Vietnam hadn't happened yet, and the hippies haven't happened yet, the counterculture hasn't happened yet, the 70s hasn't happened yet. This is a world where, Charles Manson hasn't happened yet, where uh, or the other mass murderers who came to light later on hasn't happened yet. This is still a bright, happy, optimistic world that's got defenders who can defend it. Um, and they don't have the UN. They have the Future Foundation that's created by the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. That sounds like a great way to present the material, to just be honest to, the art style and the material from that era. That's cool. Maybe for the older folks, it might hit uh, that nostalgia button, but it's nice. If people want to see a great X-Men cartoon or an X-Men show, right? You kind of have to go back to the classic '90s designs. Um, the all the attempts to modernize the suits and the designs. You see this stuff with Superman and Batman, and they have to come up with a slightly different uniform or costume every time they come up with a new form of that movie. But really, they have that sort of one iconic look and feel. I'm not talking about the costumes, but you've been talking about the setting, the characters, the look and feel of the place. Um, Not only the actual visuals, but the actual setting. It's a great idea. Pick that classic style, that classic era, and just present that honestly. So that's cool. I'm glad you just discovered that uh, in the film, which I had just dismissed as, you know, pointless diversion.
So, anyways, yeah, I would say it's a movie worth seeing. If you're not interested in superhero movies anymore, I would definitely recommend you catch it on cable. Um, if if you're got a date and you want to go see something in the theaters, um, it's worth watching. Uh, I am completely surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did, given Marvel's track record recently, and I'm sure a lot of people are. And I'm sure they've had two huge flops this year. Um, Red Hulk and Captain Thunderbird. Um, Captain America 4, New World Order, was that it? Yeah. And then the Thunderbirds. That was the other one, I think. Um, so, maybe this will do well. I don't think it'll do as well as it could have if they hadn't been screwing the pooch for. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. That's beyond our self-imposed profanity limitation. uh, as if they hadn't been messing things up so badly for the last however long it's been since Endgame. 7 years, 8 years, something like that. So, anyways, that's my review. I'm done.
Sounds good. Um, wow, we are way over time, DW, but we touched on a lot of great stuff. I don't have anything else to say. We got the chat's questions are all taken care of. Really happy to see you guys come and hanging out with us. Absolute pleasure seeing you, especially after there's a couple of shows sort of in our time slot that we're trying to compete for our listeners. But everybody listening later, I hope you really enjoyed the show.
Um, is this the time
Go
when
for it.
oh boy, I'm gonna have to gather my thoughts now. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who tuned in and listened live, and I also want to thank everyone who will tune in and listen later. This has been Geek Gab for Monday, July 28th, 2025. Just a reminder, we are here on youtube.com/geekgab. Once again, that's youtube.com/geekgab every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us on not only live on YouTube, but you can catch us later on YouTube. But if you're live, you can participate in our amazing chat with the unusually intelligent and awesome people who listen to our show. You can also catch us on iTunes, on the Google Play Store, and on SoundCloud.com. Listen to us on the web, download us to your computer, subscribe to us on the device of your choice. Just do a search for Geek Gab. We're available on all those places. We are signing out for today, folks, but don't you worry, don't you fret. We will be back.